Hey everybody, John Skiba here from the Arizona Consumer Law Group. And today I just finished an article on, the financial impacts of this coronavirus that we're all dealing with. Just a lot of the uncertainty, a lot of the craziness that's out there right now. And, with all of this uncertainty, that causes a lot of anxiety, not only for our physical health, how's that going to turn out, but also the financial type issues and repercussions of all of this. As I watch the news, I see all these schools closing. I see people not being able to go to work. Obviously, it's going to have a pretty immediate impact on a lot of families in our country. Dave Ramsey often cites to a statistic that from a study that was done by Career Builder a number of years ago, I think in like 2018, they did a study that showed that 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And, with that being the case, 80% of us out there are going to run into some real serious financial trouble if we're even missing one paycheck. And so to kind of help to ease some of that anxiety, I wanted to talk about how to deal with some of the debt issues that you may have while we're dealing with this whole coronavirus issue. There's going to be reduced hours that people are working. There's going to be layoffs. I have a friend in Las Vegas who's told me that already some of the casinos are starting to do layoffs because they simply don't have the normal, tourist and traffic that they normally do. So I wanted to talk about some of the things that you should focus on, some of the things you should not focus on when it comes to paying your debt and paying your bills. Now, often, if you're a follower of the Dave Ramsey show, he refers to this concept as the four walls, that you should deal with: food, utilities, shelter, and transportation. Deal with those things. If you can't pay all of your bills, if all of a sudden you don't have a paycheck or your paycheck's been reduced, you need to focus on those types of things first. You got to have food, you got to have shelter, you got to have transportation to get to a job and to get the kids to school. You got to be able to have a home. You got to pay the rent, the mortgage. Those are things you need to focus on. I want to break them down a little bit further and give you some of my thoughts on things to focus on. In general, I'm in agreement, but obviously focus on utilities. Here in Arizona, where I'm living, I've noticed that some of the utility companies are already coming out and offering some type of relief for people that are struggling. SRP announced that there'll be no power shutoffs for non-payment, and they're going to waive all the late fees that may be incurred during this time period. They didn't say exactly when that cutoff is, but it's good to know that if you're in a situation where you can't pay your power bill, or if you can't pay the full thing, at least if you have SRP, they're not going to shut your power off. But my recommendation is to focus on the utilities, focus on the rent, focus on secured debts like mortgages and car loans. And the reason why is not only do you need a place to live, you need your power, you need water, but things like, if you're not paying your car payment, if you're not paying your house payment, those are secured debts. They have assets attached to them. There's collateral there. And so if you don't make those payments, they can repossess your car. They can start the foreclosure process on your home. Now, I'm comparing those and contrasting those with unsecured debts like credit cards, medical bills, most personal loans. Those are unsecured debts. And if you don't pay those debts, they can ding your credit, but there's not really anything right now that they can take from you. They're not tied to any car or any specific asset where they could actually come in and take that asset from you if you fall behind on those payments. Now, if you fall behind on credit cards, you're going to start getting the collection calls and the phone calls and all the aggressive behavior that they start to show when you miss a payment. The reason why they become so aggressive and the reason why they're so loud and they're so annoying is because they don't have a lot else they can do until they file a lawsuit against you, obtain a judgment against you, and only then can they start to garnish your wages or garnish your bank account. So unless they've done all those steps, you're not at any risk of running into wage garnishment or bank levy. They've got to have those judgments. And I can tell you, it takes quite a while for most creditors to get to that point. Most credit card companies, once you go delinquent on that, they will do internal collections for up to 6 months before they'll charge off the account. Once they charge off the account, most credit card companies nowadays will package it up into a portfolio and sell it at a discount to a debt buyer who may sue you a year or two down the road. I mean, it could literally be that far away. So focus on the secured debts if your income is limited, particularly if it's going to be just a temporary amount of time. Focus on those secured debts, car loans, home loans. and try to keep them current. Whether it's unsecured debts like credit cards and medical bills, or whether it's secured debts like car loans and home loans, my recommendation is to communicate with the creditor a lot, over communicate with them right now, particularly when all this craziness is going on. Most of them have some type of program or some type of relief that they're offering people to be able to try to get through this difficult time. This isn't going to last forever. We hope not. But there may be a few months here where things are going to be pretty tough. And so communicating with them that, hey, I got laid off, or they've cut my hours in half, and I'm not going to have the money I normally had to be able to pay those bills. It's imperative that you reach out to them. If you do that, in my law practice, I've seen rarely like with a car loan, will they repossess very quickly. And even in a normal situation, they don't repossess until you're 2 to 4 months behind on the payments. And with a home loan, it's usually 3 to 6 months behind on the payments. And even then, the foreclosure process in Arizona takes forever. It takes, it'll be 3 to 6 months from now before anything like that would actually happen. So communicate with your creditors, reach out to the unsecured creditors as well. Let them know what's going on. This is particularly true if you have student loan debt. If they're federal student loans, there's going to be programs available. You may have heard some of what President Trump has announced, that he's waiving interest during this time. I haven't seen something that has all the details on that. I know that if you go to the Navient's website, they have some information there. Basically, they're saying they don't know what all the details are for that particular program yet, but they'll release them as they come out. I've read a couple things where they're not going to be reducing your payment, but the payments that you make right now is going to all be going to principal. One thing I did think there, if you have some extra cash, tax refund, something like that that you can spare, it may be a good time to put a bunch of money onto your student loans, because 100% of it is going to go to principal. So that's kind of really just in a nutshell what I wanted to talk about, that, to try to help reduce some of the anxiety that's out there. Focus on those things that are most important. Focus on keeping a roof over your head, keeping your car, keeping the lights on. Deal with the credit cards and that later, but communicate to them what you're doing, why you're going through this struggle, and I think you'll be surprised at how they're going to be willing to help you out. If there's more information that you're looking for, if you're looking at possible bankruptcy down the road, or if you just need some help with these types of debt issues, head on over to my website at consumerwarrior.com. It's consumerwarrior.com, where we have all kinds of videos and templates and other articles on these types of things. But appreciate you watching today, and we'll talk to you soon.